Hi everyone, I'm Kieran Woodsmith from 81 Vintage, and today's video is actually part of a collaboration with a bunch of my other creative friends. Be sure to check the playlist link down below in the comments and in the description box, and go and check out all their videos. I love to make new stuff look like old stuff, and today we're doing an IKEA hack. We're going to be taking the IKEA MOPPE cabinet and we're going to be upcycling it into an antique style looking Apothecary drawer set. If you want an original one of these drawer sets, you won't find one. They're very, very hard, and when you do, they're very, very expensive. First of all, you're going to need an IKEA set of MOPPE drawers. I like to paint the back and the inside of the drawers black. These are great for yourself, but also if you're a reseller, these are great for selling. I used to sell these in my shop space. Don't worry about painting the front or the back of the individual drawers because we're going to apply some techniques to them. The drawers can get a little bit sticky, so I like to just rub over them with an old candle. The drawers come with a little cutout on the front of them, so we're going to actually flip them round and work on the back. I use this little device which allows you to set a standard measurement, and you can apply that measurement across the drawers really, really quickly. But you can use a tape measure if you don't have one. So I like to measure the middle of the drawer, and then I like to measure about 3.5 centimeters up from the bottom of the drawer, and that's where I'm going to place my handle. Now, depending on what type of handles you have, you may want to adjust that. If you're new here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. The first thing I'm going to do is apply a thick coat of textured paint. For this project, I'm going to be using the FurniPaint Textured Medium Powder, and this is an additive that you add to your paint. This allows you to thicken up your paint and has little bits and pieces in it that help create texture and depth. It comes in a resealable bag like this, and a little goes a long way. Here I'm just adding it to some standard home wall paint. This is in an off-white colour. You want to go with a light base for this base layer because that will help give you some really good contrast later on. So I'm just adding a little bit in here, and then I'm mixing it into the top layer of the paint. I like to mix it in the top inch, and then that way you get loads of great texture. I then apply it on really thickly in a stippling motion. And if you don't know, FurniPaint is a new range of furniture paint that I am creating. These are all the types of products that I wanted as a professional furniture painter but didn't quite have. So I'm creating my own brand, and I'll be sharing with you all the tips and tricks on how to use the products. The textured medium will thicken up your paint, and it will also help it adhere to slick surfaces if you're doing this with something that's been painted before. I love painting in the summer. It makes everything so much easier, and even with a thick coat of textured paint like this, it dries within about 15 to 20 minutes. Next I want to apply my top colour. So in this case I'm going for a vintage style green. This is something that I'm using on another project, so be sure to subscribe to see that one coming as well. Just try and pick a colour that's quite a vintage, antique-y type colour, rather than something that's really, really vibrant and modern. Once the top colour's dry, then it's time to sand it, and I'm using my orbital sander with 120 grit sandpaper. Because we've applied the textured coat in a really thick way with lots of stippling, it really helps when you come to sand it. It also helps smooth it out and get rid of some of those rougher peaks. When I'm sanding, I also like to sand the sides as well as the front of the drawers so that they evenly slide in and out. Now at the moment it may be looking a little bit stark, but don't worry. Next is when it gets all its age, and what I like to do is apply a dark wax. This is a brie wax, which is a solvent-based wax, but it adheres and chemically bonds to the paint really, really well. It also gives a really vintage antique look with very minimal effort. For this I'm using a wax brush, and I like to apply the wax really, really roughly. Then it's time to use the heat gun, and this one has variable speed and heat settings. What I like to do is just heat up the wax a little bit and then use a microfiber cloth to blend it. I don't remove too much of the wax and I like to leave it around the edges. The wax does bond with the paint and it changes the colour just a little bit, but it also adds some colour and depth to that textured paint layer. Once I'm happy with the level of age that I've got, I then add the labels. I'll include a link to the blog post down below where you can download the free PDF with 6 of the labels that I use here. These 2 labels are always the most popular, so I always include them. So I apply a little bit of PVA glue on the back of the label on a slick surface. That allows you to easily peel it up. Then I just place it centrally above where the knob will be, and that just finishes it off. Then I add the knobs back on. But at this point it needs a top. Now when I'm selling them, I like to use marble tops, and old fireplaces are a great way of getting old marble. But for today's one I'm just using this old vintage piece of wood. So it measures 22 centimetres deep and 32 centimetres wide. I've given it a quick sand, but I've left a lot of that age on it, as well as some old paint. Then I just apply some brie wax to it, and that really gives the colour a really good depth. And this is how it came out. If you're new here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. These drawers are great for storing all sorts of bits and pieces, and you never know what you might find in them. Mike, do you want a cup of tea? I hope you liked this video. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also check out the playlist for all the other creative friends doing the collab. Catch you on the next one.